Hello, my name is Mara, and welcome to Books Like Woe. So, we're doing my What I'm Reading Right Now slightly differently this month just because I need to film it a little earlier than I normally would. And I'm going to tell you the few things that I am reading, and I think because I'm moving, I'm just like so freaking scattered right now that I'm having a very hard time finishing books. So I'm starting a lot of books and finishing very few right now. So I'll talk to you guys a little bit about those, but mostly I thought that this would kind of be like, hey, here's what I think I'm going to read this month. And yeah, we'll see what happens. It might be kind of interesting just with the move and the job change and everything, how that pans out. We shall see. Anyway, I'm doing this a little bit differently, but I think it'll be okay. So in terms of things that I've already read, the main things that I've only finished 2 books so far this month because it is quite early in the month. And what day is it? It's like the 4th. Okay, so yeah, I've only finished 2 books so far this month, and the first one was a Project Poirot book, so you will be hearing about that the last Saturday of this month. Spoilers, it was one that I really liked, so that was good. And then I listened to a book called Switch by Chip and Dan Heath on audio, and it was essentially sort of like ways to think about change and how to institute change in a way that is in alignment with sort of like how our brains are set up to deal with change. And I actually thought it was like really helpful and like had some useful kind of like metaphors for change. It had this kind of image about like kind of more of our planning self and like kind of big picture thinking self being the writer, and our sort of emotional habit forming self being the elephant. So it was sort of talking about how you get the writer and the elephant to work together to get to where you're going. So anyway, I actually thought that was pretty good, and I think I gave that like 3 stars on Goodreads. Sorry, I just got my haircut today, and actually I like the way it looks, but I'm not sure how I feel about the piece that's always in my face. I don't know. And it's all straight right now, and normally I like to wear it with more wave. We'll see how things work out. Anyway, that's a side note. So, those are the only 2 books I've actually that I'm done with, which is not great. But again, we're still early in the month. So, those are the books I'm done with. The books that I'm currently reading right now. So, I have a few out from the library that I need to get to. The first of which being The Hate You Give. So, I started that. Haven't read enough to have any opinion about it, but I have every expectation that I'm going to love that book just based on how much everybody else loves that book. So I'm excited to get to that one and finish it up. I have Purity and Death out right now, which is the 15th book in the J.D. Robb series that I'm reading, the In Death series. I always enjoy those books, so I'm excited to get another installment. Let's see here. I've got, so before I move, right now I only have 3 mass markets that I'm trying to get rid of. I just did a check at my new library, and this book they have, so I don't need to hold on to this, so I'm going to declutter that one. But the only other 2 mass markets I have left are, and I'm in the middle of both of these, is Highland Dragon Shifter by Isabel Cooper and How to Run with a Naked Werewolf. I am enjoying both of these, and I'm shocked that I'm not done with either because, like, honestly, if I just would focus, I could get either of these read in a couple of hours. But I'm enjoying both, and I anticipate being able to finish those and get them off of the list. God, what else am I reading? Oh, the other thing I'm reading right now, is that I have the 4 Tendencies out on audio right now from the library called, it's called The 4 Tendencies, and it's by Gretchen Rubin, and I'm intrigued by the premise, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I think it's basically kind of talking about, like, how her kind of framework of thinking about personality is where does motivation come from for you? Does it come from within? Is it something that you have to get from other people? Do you just like not care what anyone thinks, etc., etc.? And it was on a list of kind of most interesting business or self-helpy type books that Ellen Powell put out towards the end of last year. And so yeah, I was intrigued by the premise. And so far, I'm not sure if I totally buy kind of the way she talks about it as an absolute framework, but it's an interesting book, and I'm enjoying that. So is that all? I think those are all the books that I'm actively reading right now. I'm always someone who has like 6 or 7 books going. I get a little ADD in terms of finishing books. But in terms of what I'm going to read once that little batch is done, I have another book out from the library that I'm going to read called Roomies by Christina Lauren. I've heard mixed things about it, but I like Christina Lauren and want to try more from her, and it is a fake marriage trope, which I love. So, intrigued to try that one. And then I have these 4 books that were all on my most anticipated reads. Ooh. Of 2018, and I told you guys that I'd kind of picked out 13 off of that list that I was most interested in reading, and I was going to make sure that I got to those. So 3 of these books are a part of that. There's Feel Free by Zadie Smith. Sorry, trying to get this in frame. Feel Free by Zadie Smith, which is a collection of essays, and this is going to be my first full Zadie Smith book that I've read, and so I'm excited to get to this one. I've got The Queen's Rising by Rebecca Ross, and this is, I think it's YA, but I'm not sure. It's about a young girl who has magic, lives in a magical world, and I think kind of about like some political intrigue she gets up to. I was sold by the description of this. And then The Hazel Wood, which is another fantasy, again, kind of on the border. I'm not sure if it's YA or not. But these are 3 that came out in either January or early February, and I would like to get to roughly in the time when they came out. I may, for books that I'm reading that are relatively new releases, I may try to do like very quick, unedited, informal reviews of, and just sort of stick them up when I have time. Probably shouldn't try to do that when I'm in the middle of moving, but once I get settled, I may start trying to do that. The other new release I got was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, just because I really like Maureen Johnson a lot, and this is like a mystery, and I don't know, I've heard really good things about it, and I was on hold for it at the library, but since I'm moving, I won't be able to get it, so I just decided to go ahead and buy it. So I'm hoping all 4 of those will happen. The other new release that I had on my most anticipated release list for 2018 that came out in February was From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, who's she's one of my very favorite contemporary romance writers, so I'm looking forward when I have like a need for some brain candy after I get through these guys. I think that'll be some good brain candy. The other book that came out in late January that was on that list of 13 that I definitely want to get to is This Will Be My Undoing, and because it is not available in hardback, what I've decided to do is to read it in ebook once I get that from the library. I think I'm number 3 on the list for that. Once I've read it, I'll determine if I want to buy that as either an ebook or get it as audio. I suspect that I'm going to prefer having it as audio, but I just want to kind of see how that goes. So that is something that's going to happen. And then finally, the other books that I want to read this month, I'm giving myself quite a list here, considering how much I have going on. But you know, I read a lot, and we'll see how much damage I can do. Is that I've recently, and I don't know why I started doing this while I was moving, other than sometimes I don't make good choices and I'm a garbage person, but I was reminded that NetGalley is a thing, and like I'd totally forgotten that, and my channel is so small that I figured, oh, you know what, I'll put in a bunch of requests for books, kind of some of these anticipated releases I have for 2018. I'm not going to get approved for them, but like I'll just put in the request and see what happens. Well, it turns out I actually have gotten approved for a lot more than I thought I would. So in terms of sort of like very light things, I have an arc for The Last Wolf by Maria Vale, and then I have an arc for the 3rd book in this series, and I forget exactly what it's called, but it's by Isabel Cooper. I want to say it's like Highland Dragon Master. That sounds right. God, what a title. Anyway, I have both of those, and they both came out on February 6th, so I'm going to do my very best to get to those sooner rather than later so that I can get some kind of a review up. And I feel like if you request and get a arc, you got to be okay about turning those around pretty fast. So those are pretty light. The other 3 that I received, 2 of them are coming out in early March, so I want to try to get to those before they come out, and those 2 are The Merry Spinster by Mallory Ortberg. I was shocked I got approved for that, so I'm so excited because that was on my list of 13 that I really wanted to get to, and I just love Mallory Ortberg, so I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to be reading that. Probably towards the end of this month. And then one that you didn't have to request, I just got on recommendation from Beacon Hill Books, because she was talking about that it was a very charming mystery, is The Egyptian Enigma by Initials Beale? I forget, it's like LJK or something like that. Beale or B. I'll put a picture here, so I don't feel bad about forgetting this person's name. So I got that one, and it comes out, I think, on the 1st of March. So I may either read that at the end of February. That might be one that I hold off, since I didn't have to request it, I could just get it. I may hold off and read it at the very beginning of March as a part of March Mystery Madness, which will be happening in the month of March, crazily enough. So those are the two that are happening at the end of March. The other arc that I actually got was You Think It, I'll Say It by Curtis Sittenfeld. Again, one I was shocked I got, but that's not coming out till April, so I probably won't read that one till March. But anyway, man, that was a lot of books. I'm getting kind of stressed out just thinking about how many books that is, given everything else that's going on, so I may need to do some kind of reprioritizing, just because for me, I always want reading to be a joy. It's my hobby. It's something that's fun. It's not that deep. So I never want to stress myself out with the books. But anyway, I never want to be stressed out by books. It's always something that should be for fun. So I'll kind of revisit and see what's going to make the most sense. That was, I just went through a lot of books. So if you have thoughts about which books I should or shouldn't get to, if there's any of these, especially some of the newer releases, because I don't generally stay up with new releases, but this month I'm going to have more of those. If there's any of the ones I mentioned that are newer releases that you would be interested in seeing like a quick review on, let me know. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. So anyway, this is the last, you'll see some footage of a haul. God, the shame of this haul. You'll see some footage of a haul at the beginning of next month in this house, but otherwise, this is the last full-length video that I'm filming in this house. The next time I film, it will be in my new place that I do not yet have. So, goodbye, house. You've been a great house. I hope that you're doing really, really well today. I hope that you are surviving what I call the winter doldrums, or aka the pit of despair, that kind of stretch between January and like mid-March-ish, where it's like there's no holidays happening, at least in my part of the world. It's not really holidays happening. There's nothing to do. It's gross outside. Everybody hates their life a little bit and it's just ready for spring. I hope you're surviving that okay. We're all hunkered down, hopefully reading some books and getting through. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please do like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed below. And yeah, I think that does it. Have a great day, and I will just talk to you soon.